Hey guys, so at the end of 2020, I made a video all about Nintendo's best possible year in 2021 for the Nintendo Switch. And this video I talked about, all sorts of things, saying stuff like, oh, Mario Kart 9 will come out, Breath of the Wild 2 will be amazing, we'll finally get Metroid Prime 4, all that sort of stuff. And, well, it doesn't really take a genius to figure out that now we are going to be doing the exact opposite of that. Basically, this is going to be the worst possible year for the Nintendo Switch, in my opinion. I'm doing this video because you guys wanted to see it. However, be careful because I am obviously going to be saying that some stuff in this video is absolutely trash. So if by chance you want to see the stuff that I say in this video, just don't take offense to it. It's my opinion and my opinion only. With that out of the way, I'm going to be going month by month. However, I'm not going to hit every month like I did in the last video because obviously, the year is not good. So there will naturally be some months where Nintendo just doesn't do anything. On top of that, at the end, I have a couple of things that wouldn't really fit into months, but just, things I think Nintendo will do. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Let's start off the year with February because January, well, Nintendo doesn't really need to do much at all. So yeah, as I said, we're starting off with February because in January, Nintendo can essentially just not do anything. Not do, that big start of the year direct that everyone wants, not show off anything about 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, and just wait until that game comes out later on in February. Now, when I mentioned this video in the poll I sent out earlier, a lot of people were like, oh, you should do 3D World gets delayed or canceled or something like that. And obviously, that would probably be worst case scenario, but I am going to try and keep this video somewhat realistic. Obviously, God forbid, knock on wood, this does not happen, but I'm going to try and keep it somewhat realistic because I could just say, January 3rd, Nintendo completely shuts down. That's the year. And, naturally, that would be theoretically the worst possible year for Nintendo. So I'm not going to cancel or delay 3D World because, we're already so close to the release and its support, so I don't think that's, even feasible. But what is feasible is for it to absolutely suck. It's hard to mess up 3D World because it is just a port of what is a, 100% perfect game with zero flaws. But seriously, Bowser's Fury could just be an absolute joke. I'm talking 3 or 4 levels that are mediocre at best. However, in this perfect worst year, the online mode is actually good. It's actually really, really good. It's everything that I wanted. So Bowser's Fury being horrible won't matter because for the rest of February, I will be grinding that beautiful online mode. As many of you know, March is the sudden new demise of Mario, as Mario 3D All-Stars is suddenly getting yoinked from store shelves, and Super Mario 35 is, the online servers are getting shut down and it's getting yoinked from the eShop. Some of you might have already guessed it, but in my worst possible year, on that same day of March 2021, the 31st to be exact, the online servers for 3D World are already shut down. The fact that they're already doing this with 3D All-Stars and Super Mario 35 makes it somewhat possible, which just absolutely scares me. I know probably not gonna happen, but God, if that happens, I would actually be so mad. Get a taste of perfection for just a month and a half, and then it all gets thrown down the drain. That would just be horrible. Jumping straight to May because nothing would happen in April, May theoretically should be a huge month for Nintendo, with Breath of the Wild 2 launching, but with Breath of the Wild 2, Nintendo knew they needed to blow this game out, they needed to make it absolutely massive, and that's why it's exclusive to the Nintendo Switch Pro. However, it's not called the Switch Pro, oh no. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at the Nintendo Switch U. The Nintendo Switch U is essentially the exact same thing as the Nintendo Switch. All that's really improved is graphical capability, and everything else is the same, including the same Joy-Con drift and manufacturing problems we've been dealing with since day one. Oh yeah, and future intensive games are going to be exclusive to the Nintendo Switch Pro, effectively rendering the, 70 million plus Switches already sold, somewhat obsolete. Speaking of exclusive, Breath of the Wild 2 launches on launch day for the Nintendo Switch U, and utilizing the exact same world as Breath of the Wild 1, the game is essentially a retread, just with different shrines and dungeons. No real changes here. All that hype for a new story absolutely destroyed. You just fight Ganon again. Kicking off the summer with June, Nintendo is going to want to do something to celebrate Animal Crossing. I mean, New Horizons brought so many new people to the Switch and Animal Crossing as a whole. Nintendo really wants to capitalize on this brand new fanbase that loves New Horizons with their whole heart. And hey, Mario Party sold pretty well on Switch too, so... Yup, you guessed it. Animal Crossing Party Festival. A port of Amiibo Festival from the Wii U, except you don't really need to use Amiibos anymore because no one would be able to play the game because no one still has Amiibos. Pretty much no one. No need to comment. One of the worst Nintendo games of all time, brought to the Switch, sold for a full $60 just because Nintendo's trying to grab one last piece of that sweet Animal Crossing pie. In August, we get a brand new Mario Party. It is the exact same thing as Super Mario Party, except instead of the 4 boards we have now, we have 4 slightly altered boards and 80 brand new minigames. This is by far the most realistic. Honestly, I think this is something we will get this year regardless, which is so sad to me, because they can't just replace, the very surface level things like the boards and the minigames without fixing the core problems that plague the current Mario Party franchise. Jumping straight to September, the brand new Mario Kart Switch game is finally released. However, it's not what we imagined, and it's not exactly brand new. Mario Kart Tours ported to the Nintendo Switch in an absolutely devastating blow to anyone holding on that shred of hope that we could still potentially get a brand new Mario Kart on this system. Honestly, I like Mario Kart Tour. Ever since it came out, I really enjoyed it. I think it gets way too much hate just for being a gacha game, even though, it's a mobile game. It's supposed to have in-app purchases. That's just, how most mobile games operate nowadays. Of course, you have, absolute gems that don't, but most big company mobile games operate this way, so I wasn't super, torn off by it. However, I give Mario Kart Tour that leniency because it is a mobile game. It's not supposed to be that big experience that you get on a console. So porting Kart Tour to Switch, even though I like the game more than most people, a Switch port would just be an absolutely devastating blow. For October, we have the long-awaited Metroid Prime 4 from Retro Studios. This game took heavy inspiration from popular looter shooter Destiny. Yup, Metroid Prime has turned into a Destiny clone. The Galactic Federation has mass-produced super soldiers to go fight the war, and you play as one of them, going to fight and kill as many aliens as you can. I know some people out there really like this type of formula, but do I even need to explain why this is just horribly wrong and doesn't fit Metroid at all? Moving on to November, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes are announced. To finish off Pokemon 25, the grand anniversary, they are announced to be Pokemon Let's Go Dialga and Pokemon Let's Go Palkia. Yup, that's right, everyone's favorite Pokemon Let's Go formula is back, but this time in the Sinnoh region. I am not even going to explain this one. Now here are just 3 general things that Nintendo could do. The first one is new Smash Bros characters. I'm gonna be honest here, the worst possible thing they could do is just choose more anime swordsmen. I don't care if they play as the most unique fighter in the world. If it's another Fire Emblem character, I just quite simply do not care. Next thing Nintendo does is strike down more tournaments. Hopefully the virus will start lightening up next year, but given that it's going to be a while before tournaments in full can really come back and swing, lots of games such as Super Smash Bros. Melee or Mario Kart Wii that no longer have legitimate online servers are using fan-made creations like Slippy or Weemfire, however you pronounce that. Worst case scenario is Nintendo shutting down these tournaments and sending a cease and desist to the people who actually upkeep these fan-made servers. Last but not least, this is the most scary thing for me. Nintendo brings back the YouTube Creator Program. Essentially what the Nintendo Creator Program was Nintendo just saying any money that you make on YouTube from a video that uses any sort of Nintendo related footage, yeah, we get to take all of that. Any gameplay, any music, yeah, all of that is ours. It was an absolute joke, and the only way to avoid this was by joining what they called the Nintendo Creator Program, where essentially they would just take 45% of all your money. It was some number around there. On top of that, you could only use footage from like certain parts of certain games, so if Nintendo didn't want you to show something, you couldn't show it. It was just an absolute joke. No one liked the Creator Program, that's why pretty much no one was in it. But then again, by not being in it, you're at risk to basically have your entire video copyright claimed, and then Nintendo just makes all the money you would have made from it. So it was just an absolute joke of a system. For anyone trying to do Nintendo YouTube full time, I am so sorry, because if you were doing that back in the day, or if you did it now and they reenacted the system, that would be probably the scariest thing, because your literal job could just stop paying you at any moment when Nintendo decides, ooh, this looks like something for me. Luckily, I don't do YouTube full time, so it wouldn't really impact me that much, but yeah, that would just be absolutely horrible. With that out of the way, thank you guys all so much for watching. If you want to watch the video that's the opposite of this one, the best 2021, then click the button on screen right now. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we're trying to hit 250,000 subscribers within this year. Insanely lofty goal, but I think we can do it. I'm Thomas from the Switch Stop signing off. Peace.